Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast, and welcome to your AEW Dynamite post-show, man. And there is a lot to talk about in today's episode. We got an AEW Tag Team title matchup between Cage and Copeland taking on the Death Riders, Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta. We'll talk about that in today's episode. Seemingly, we have a number one contender matchup for the AEW National Championship. It is Jack Doyle taking on Andrade. Now, if Andrade wins this matchup, he will move on to face Mark Davis for the AEW National title. We have a AEW Championship celebration from Kenny Omega. We'll talk about that in today's episode and how I feel about that. We got Brodito in action as well. We got an AEW International Championship matchup as well between Kyle Fletcher defending the International title against Commander. We'll talk about that in today's episode. We also have a vignette of Chris Jericho. We'll talk about that as well. We got Darby Allin in action taking on Don Callis family member Brian Cage. And we also have a 6-women tag team matchup between Divine Dominion and Mercedes Moné teaming up to take on Maya World, Hyen, and Willow Nightingale. And we'll talk all about that in today's episode, man. But let's start off tonight. We got an AEW tag team title matchup. It is Copeland and Cage defending the AEW tag team titles against Death Riders, Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta. Now, I thought it was a decent match. It was a back-and-forth matchup between both teams with Copeland and Cage keeping the pace of the match. Copeland hits a power slam in the middle of the ring, followed by Cage hitting a diving headbutt for a near fall. Wheeler Yuta then hits a German suplex into a roll-up for a near fall in the middle of the ring. Yuta then exposes the turnbuckle, but Copeland hits a spear on Wheeler Yuta in the middle of the ring, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match, and still AEW Tag Team Champions, are Copeland and Cage. After the match, the Dogs and Claudio attack Copeland and Cage. The Bang Bang Gang are here. They end up attacking the Dogs and Claudio Castagnoli. Jay White is here as well. Cage and Jay get face-to-face in the middle of the ring with Copeland trying to tell Cage that Jay White is here to help them. Looks like there's some hostility here still between Jay White and Christian Cage. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It is Jack Doyle taking on Andrade. I thought this was a good match. It's a back-and-forth matchup between Doyle and Andrade, with Doyle keeping the pace of the match. Andrade hits a Hurricane Rana off the top rope, followed by another Hurricane Rana that Andrade hits on Doyle off the apron to the outside. But Doyle gets up, hits a choke slam, sending Andrade onto the apron. Andrade then was landing devastating chops on Doyle in the middle of the ring, followed by a flying forearm, taking out Doyle. Andrade hits a moonsault to the outside, taking out Doyle as well. Doyle, though, gets up, hits a Liger bomb on Andrade in the middle of the ring for a near fall. Andrade then takes a page out of Eddie Guerrero's playbook by hitting a 3 Amigos on Doyle in the middle of the ring for a near fall, followed by a running knee. Andrade then goes for a frog splash off the top rope, but Doyle counters the frog splash. But Andrade hits a spinning back fist, followed by Andrade hitting the finish, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match, and moving on to face Mark Davis for the AEW National title, is Andrade. Hats off to Andrade for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have Kenny Omega's AEW Championship celebration. Kenny Omega comes out to the ring. He's greeted by Tony Schiavone. But all of a sudden, the Young Bucks come out to the ring as well. Matt Jackson grabs a microphone. He talks about being friends with Omega for over 20 years. Matt then hypes up Omega. But Matt said he doesn't like the belt that Omega has. So instead, the Young Bucks bring out the original AEW World title and give it to Kenny Omega. Omega then grabs a microphone and says it's been so long that he never thought he would ever hold the AEW World title again. Omega says the difference maker was the fans, his AEW family. Omega says that this wasn't supposed to happen, but thanks to fans. He also talks about Wembley Stadium. Omega says that he still has some work to do. He also says the fans will see the best Kenny Omega at Wembley Stadium. After this, Kenny Omega is interrupted by Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay comes out to the ring. Ospreay grabs the microphone, asks the Bucks if they mind if they don't mind leaving the ring, so Ospreay can talk to his old pal Kenny Omega. The Bucks leave the ring. Ospreay says it's great to see Omega as world champion again. Ospreay then talks about being there last week, seeing Omega win the AEW World title. And then Ospreay pretty much hypes up Omega, says the best bout machine is back, and the cleaner is back. Ospreay says for 10 years, Omega has been Ospreay's hero. Or Ospreay says 10 years, Omega has been his hero. Ospreay says that what he thinks of AEW, when he thinks of AEW, he thinks of Kenny Omega. Ospreay says he's not happy, though, being number 2. Ospreay says that this is the real Goku versus Vegeta fighting it out in the real world. After that, Ospreay and Kevin Knight are interrupted by TNT champion Kevin Knight. Knight comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone, says him and Omega have something to talk about. Ospreay then tells Knight, Omega tells Knight Ospreay can stay. Knight then gives Omega some congrats of winning the AEW World title. Knight says, though, he still owed a title shot. Knight says that there is a debt to be paid and he's here to collect. Knight says he wants a match against Omega at Redemption. Omega says, jokingly, you're out here for a promise that MJF made you? Omega then praises Kevin Knight. Omega says all that changed about Kevin Knight when he joined Don Callis and the Don Callis family. Omega then talks about Don Callis. Omega then questions Knight, why are you hanging around a guy like Don Callis? You don't need to be around Don Callis. Instead, you are Don Callis' lapdog. Omega says he could have become TNT champion and hell, world champion without Don Callis. Omega then calls Kevin Knight a fraud. Omega says if Knight wants a title opportunity at the pay-per-view, he's going to do it without Don Callis. Knight says there's no goodness left in his heart, only greatness. Knight then attacks Omega. Don Callis' family are here. Ospreay and Omega fight off the Don Callis family, and the Death Riders show up to back up Ospreay and Kenny Omega. Some interesting stuff here between Kevin Knight and Kenny Omega, and we'll talk more about this at the end of today's episode. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night, a tag team matchup. It is Brodito taking on a bunch of jobbers. I thought it was an okay match, glorified squash, with Brodito keeping the pace. Bandito hits a press slam followed by a frog splash, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match are Brodito. Hats off to Brodito for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have an AEW International title matchup, whereas Kyle Fletcher defending the AEW International title against Commander. Now, I thought this was a really good match. It was a back-and-forth matchup between Fletcher and Commander, with Fletcher keeping the pace of the match. Fletcher hits a big boot on the outside, taking out Commander, but Commander gets up, hits a springboard Hurricane Rana on Fletcher. Commander then hits another Hurricane Rana, sending Fletcher into the announce table on the outside, followed by Commander hitting a springboard 450 for a near fall. Commander then hits a devastating springboard Canadian Destroyer for a near fall on Kyle Fletcher, but Fletcher gets up, hits a Michinoku driver on Commander in the middle of the ring, followed by a devastating brainbuster, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match, and still AEW International Champion, is Kyle Fletcher. After the match, Fletcher is seen tearing off the mask of Commander. Takeshita is here. Takeshita attacks Fletcher. Takeshita then has the international title, but Okada is here. Okada hits a Rainmaker on Takeshita, leaving Takeshita helpless in the middle of the ring. Okada then picks up the international title. And then Okada and Fletcher then get face-to-face in the middle of the ring. Bandito and Brody King are here, and Bandito then attacks Kyle Fletcher in the middle of the ring. Some interesting stuff there between Bandito and Kyle Fletcher. Moving on from that, we got a vignette, or a video package for that matter, of Chris Jericho. It looks like Jericho wants a rematch with Ciampa at Redemption, and it looks like Jericho is bringing back an old character of his with the Painmaker, making his return at AEW's Redemption. Some interesting stuff there from Chris Jericho. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It's Darby Allin taking on Don Callis family member Brian Cage. I thought it was a decent match. Darby quickly attacks Cage, but Cage tosses Darby onto the ramp. Cage was keeping the pace of the match, with Cage hitting a suplex on Darby, sending Darby to the ramp. But Darby gets up, tries to get some offense in by hitting a coffin drop to the outside. Darby then hits an Avalanche Code Red on Cage for a near fall as well, but Cage hits a press slam, sending Darby into the ring post to the outside. But Darby somehow gets up, hits another coffin drop on Cage onto the steel steps, and then Darby follows it up by hitting another 2 coffin drops on Brian Cage in the middle of the ring, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Darby Allin. Hats off to Darby Allin for getting the win in this matchup. And moving on from that, the main event, we got Divine Dominion teaming up with Mercedes Moné, taking on Maya World, Hyan, and Willow Nightingale. The match itself, it was a decent match. It was a back-and-forth matchup between both teams, with Maya World, Hyan, and Willow Nightingale keeping the pace of the match. Moné hits a Three Amigos in the middle of the ring, with Hyan hitting a knee strike. Megan Bayne hits a Falcon Arrow for a near fall. Willow then launches Bayne across the ring. Hyan then hits a spear on Moné for a near fall, but Moné hits a Moné Maker in the middle of the ring, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match are Divine Dominion and Mercedes Moné. A couple of things I want to talk about, man, when it pertains to AEW Dynamite before I get the hell up out of here. I want to talk about the elephant in the room, and that being Kevin Knight. You know, when you had this championship celebration on this past Dynamite with Kenny Omega beating MJF at Beach Break to become the new AEW World Champion. You know, we had this championship celebration with Omega, you know, and yeah, I figured somebody was going to come out, more than likely Will Ospreay. Ospreay won the Owen. We know Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega is going down at All In and Wembley, so we know that's going to happen. So, you know, they're going to slowly start building this storyline here between with Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. So Omega comes out there, he has a celebration, he's greeted by Tony Schiavone, and then the Young Bucks come out. Young Bucks, most specifically Nick Jackson, hands over the original AEW World title, pretty much throwing away the Triple B title that was held by MJF. So Omega, you know, he's talking about his accolades and thanking the fans, and then he's also interrupted by Kevin Knight. This has got a lot of people talking, and I'm not sitting here saying in a good way. So I want to start with this first and foremost. I have praised Kevin Knight. I think Kevin Knight is a guy that's the future of this business, 100%. He has a very high ceiling in AEW. He has a very high ceiling in professional wrestling. And sky's the limit for Kevin Knight. I'm happy that he's become TNT champion. I'm happy that he's shown on TV more. The issue I have right now, and it's going to be a very subjective thing, or maybe even something that a lot of fans are not going to like. I like the success that Kevin Knight is having. What I don't like right now, AEW brings in this new pay-per-view into their calendar year with Redemption. Live from Canada. I don't know if they're in Toronto or... I think it's Toronto. I could be wrong, but I know it's in Canada. We had this pay-per-view with Redemption, and yeah, you know, on paper, Kenny Omega in some way, some capacity was going to be a part of this show, whether fans liked it or not. But then we get Kevin Knight, and Kevin Knight comes out to the ring, like I said, during the Kenny Omega Championship celebration, and told Kenny Omega that he still owed a match for the world title. A promise that was made by MJF, who is currently not the AEW World Champion. So Tony Khan and AEW decided to pull the trigger on a matchup here between Kevin Knight, the current TNT champion, taking on AEW World Champion Kenny Omega next week at AEW's Redemption. I have a huge fucking problem with this. First and foremost, I respect the hell out of Kevin Knight, but I do not think Kevin Knight is pay-per-view main event worthy right now. And that may be very subjective. That may be a hot take for a lot of people. I do not see Kevin Knight as a main event caliber talent right now headlining a pay-per-view. And again, I can understand people saying that can be very subjective, very controversial. The reason why I'm saying this right now about Kevin Knight is because I genuinely believe that Kevin Knight is not ready. He's not ready. Right now, you have this guy walking around with the TNT title. And here's my other thing about Kevin Knight. You have Kevin Knight walking around with the TNT Championship right now. Okay? We know for a fact that there is a storyline here between Kevin Knight and Darby Allin that has been stemming since Double or Nothing, when Kevin Knight pretty much helped Darby drop the belt to MJF in New York at Double or Nothing, and making MJF once again AEW World Champion. There's a story in itself. There's a history here between both Kevin Knight and Darby Allin. I mean, hell, they trained together with Buddy Wayne. There's a good familiarity here between both these gentlemen. I don't understand. Now, I know it was announced for next week's Dynamite that we're going to have a TNT Championship matchup here between Kevin Knight and Darby Allin for the TNT title. Why can we not have that matchup at Redemption? And people can sit here and argue to the moon with me about Kevin Knight. Well, I don't understand. Well, you know, you want him to be a main event caliber star, and you want to push him to be a main event star and he's the future of this business, why do you not want to see him in the main event against Kenny Omega? Because the guy's not ready, number one. Number two, I have multiple reasons for this. Number two, you have a high-profile championship matchup here between Kevin Knight defending the TNT title against Darby Allin. Darby Allin right now on paper is not doing jack shit at Redemption. A guy who was a former AEW World Champion, whether you like the situation or not. And currently right now, as far as I'm concerned, he's not even on the card for Redemption at this moment. So rather than booking a TNT title match next week, why can we not have the TNT title match up at Redemption? Darby gets his redemption against Kevin Knight, and we crown Darby Allin the new TNT champion. I mean, the name of the pay-per-view alone is called Redemption. Darby Allin is getting his redemption back from Kevin Knight when Kevin Knight had cost Darby Allin the championship at Double or Nothing in New York, seemingly crowning MJF once again the AEW World Champion because of the help of Kevin Knight. Or Kevin Knight attacking MJF after the match. There's a storyline in itself. I don't think Kevin Knight cost Darby, but I know Kevin Knight did attack Darby Allin at Double or Nothing when he hit that UFO splash on Darby when Darby was pretty much trying to get taken out from the arena in a gurney or on a stretcher. So there's a history here between both these guys. Both of these guys have trained together. They trained with Buddy Wayne. There's a history here between both these gentlemen. And the fact of the matter is Darby Allin has told Kevin Knight that he wants to go after the TNT title. So rather than booking this matchup next week, why can we not have this matchup a part of AEW's Redemption? With Darby Allin getting his revenge against Kevin Knight, and then we crown Darby Allin the new AEW World Champion, which would seemingly clear Kevin Knight to have no title and have him go after the AEW World Championship, because not for nothing, this roster is too fucking big. And I said the same thing about Willow Nightingale when she was TBS champion and AEW Women's Tag Team champion. This roster is severely bloated as it is. We do not see, there should be no reason whatsoever that we need to see any individual on this roster holding two titles simultaneously. No way. This roster is severely bloated. The whole Jet 2 belt shit, I can give a rat's ass about that shit, bro. I'm going to be honest. Might be a hot take for a lot of people, man, but I don't want to see that shit. So rather than having Kevin Knight and Darby Allin next week, it would have been smarter to book Kevin Knight and Darby Allin at Redemption. Darby would get his redemption against Kevin Knight, and then Darby becomes the new TNT champion. Why not? The pay-per-view itself is called Redemption. Hello. I mean, it writes itself. The other thing that I'm irritated with, and yeah, there is, I did not do a review last week for AEW Beach Break. I had a lot going on that day, so I do apologize for that. There was just a lot going on. I did watch highlights of it, and I found out what happened, obviously, with Kenny Omega becoming new AEW World Champion. I'm going to be honest. Would I have had that matchup at Beach Break between MJF and Kenny Omega for the AEW World title? Absolutely not. I would have waited until we got to Redemption and crowned Kenny Omega at Redemption in Canada. Being that he's from Canada, the pay-per-view alone is called Redemption. Obviously, there was a storyline in itself between MJF and Kenny Omega. I would have crowned Kenny Omega AEW World Champion at Redemption. Because the problem now that we're going into, now we have Kevin Knight versus Omega. MJF seemingly is not going to be a part, from what I understand, of this Redemption card. He's not even booked for a matchup yet. A lot of people are saying that he's injured, which I don't think he's that injured, considering the matches that he's had already with a possible knee injury that's taken him out. And it's already been reported by multiple different media outlets that MJF is going to play a major role at AEW's Wembley Stadium. He just might not be in the main event. Which, not for nothing, I think that's a huge fucking mistake. A huge mistake. There's no reason why one of your top stars, if not the top star of this company, is not in the main event at AEW's Wembley show and All In. Now, some people could say, well, I don't want to see a triple threat matchup, bro. This is my thing. I don't understand how you keep a guy like MJF possibly off the main event at All In. Arguably. This is a guy that's keeping the... Whether people like it or not, MJF is keeping the fucking lights on for AEW. Because not for nothing right now, I respect the hell out of Will Ospreay. I respect the hell out of Kenny Omega. But right now, even with Kenny Omega, bro, he's not drawing flies to shit. Let's just be honest. And some people could say, as far as Kenny Omega becoming AEW World Champion, this could be Kenny Omega's last little hoorah in his pro wrestling career. This could be something where they're doing the same thing they did for Bryan Danielson, and Kenny Omega's at the tail end of his career, and they want to crown him AEW World Champion. Okay. But when the smoke clears and the dust settles, where do we go from here? Where do we go with MJF? Where do we go with Will Ospreay? You know what I mean? You've got a return of Adam Page, and that's the other fucking thing. You had the return of Adam Page on a random episode of Collision. And again, Adam Page is a man of his word. He's never going to challenge for the AEW World title again. But he's now back, and now you didn't say anything about Adam Page at all, or showcase Adam Page at all on Dynamite on Wednesday. Nothing was even remotely even talked about when it pertained to Adam Page. Here we are having Redemption coming up next week, and Page is not even on the card. As far as I'm concerned, he's not on the card. I see a big problem with that. I see a huge problem with that. But instead, you want to book Kenny Omega versus Kevin Knight for the AEW World title, knowing that Kevin Knight doesn't have a chance in hell to beat Kenny Omega at Redemption. And if he did, it'd be the biggest fucking mistake AEW's ever put together. Ever. And that's not me hating on Kevin Knight. My issue with Kevin Knight is this. Do I see him as a main event caliber star? Yes. Do I think he belongs in the main event on the pay-per-view right now? And you're charging people $50 for it? Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You have a storyline in itself with Darby. Why are we not having that matchup at Redemption rather than having it next week? The pay-per-view alone is called Redemption. Darby Allin can get his redemption back against Kevin Knight, beat Kevin Knight at Redemption, and Darby is a new TNT champion. In my opinion, I would have stalled and waited to have MJF versus Kenny Omega and waited until we got to the pay-per-view at Redemption. Because as far as I'm concerned, MJF's not even booked for Redemption at all. At all. So then where do we go from here? This is the shit that I'm talking about, man, where you have a boss who's not a boss. You have a guy who's fucking delusional. You have a guy that, hey, man, we're going to book this match for the AEW Sickos, pal. That's what we're going to do. No one gives a fuck about this match, bro. Let's just be real. Let's be real. No one gives a shit about Kevin Knight versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World title. Nobody fucking cares, man. And there's no disrespect towards Kevin Knight. But what's the story? Oh, I talked to MJF, and because we won the cage match, it got me an opportunity at the AEW World title, bro. MJF's he's not even world champion anymore. You're out there on something that you had with MJF. Kenny Omega's a champion now. Well, I talked to MJF, and I deserve it. I'm here to collect my debt. Come on, man. Come on. Jesus Christ. Jesus. They don't know what they're doing over there, bro, to be honest with you. And honestly, when this was announced, I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. You got to be kidding me, bro. You cannot tell me that Kevin Knight versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World title is screaming, yeah, that's worth $50. Get the fuck out of here, bro. No way. No fucking way. And this is how you bring in a new pay-per-view to your calendar year with this fucking garbage? Come on, man. Come on. Jesus Christ. Well, what do you mean, man? I don't understand. You have all this praise for Kevin Knight. This is how you put him in the main event spot. What, for him to get fucking crushed by Kenny Omega? Come on, bro. Well, at least he went up against the AEW World Champion, and he still lost. Yeah, he lost. How's that building Kevin Knight? Well, he had a match against the World Champion. You can say the same shit about Mark Briscoe. And where's Mark Briscoe now? Where's Brody King now? Well, he faced off against the World Champion. Those guys ain't doing shit, bro. Mark Briscoe ain't doing nothing right now. Brody King is in a tag team right now with Bandito. With Brodito. And hell, Bandito's got a goddamn championship matchup at Redemption against Fletcher for the international title. You think Brody King's getting another title opportunity against John Moxley? No, bro. As far as I'm concerned with Briscoe, I don't want Briscoe to even sniff that fucking world title opportunity again. You come up short multiple fucking times. So yeah, you could say, oh, well, yeah, it's going to put him in the main event spot. Okay, yeah, it puts him in the main event spot. Well, what happens after that? What happens after that for Kevin Knight? Back of the line. So really, are you building a future star for this business, or are you trying to kill him off and push him back down the ladder? Well, he faced off against the world champion. Yeah, but he fucking lost. He fucking lost. And now on top of that shit, you're not even building story now. You have story in itself with Kevin Knight and Darby Allin. So instead of holding back until we get to Redemption and have him defend that TNT title against Darby, you're doing it next week. Come on, man. Just to give, Kevin Knight his opportunity against Kenny Omega on a promise that was made by MJF, with MJF not even being world champion anymore? Give me a fucking break, man. Holy shit. I'd rather have seen Andrade versus Kenny Omega at Redemption. There's a story in itself there. Hell, people are still talking about Kyle Fletcher and Kenny Omega with what Fletcher did to Kenny Omega when he was out with diverticulitis. I mean, come on, man. You have multiple other stories that you can do rather than Kevin Knight. Hell, you can incorporate Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega with the backstory that's there between Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, and Jon Moxley at Redemption. Why the hell not? I don't even think Jon Moxley's even booked for this fucking card at Redemption. This card for Redemption is going to be shit. As of right now, I mean, hell, bro, you got Copeland and Cage defending the AEW tag team titles against Claudio and Pac. Newsflash, bro, what the fuck has Claudio and Pac done as a tag team as of late? Come on, man. Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, you're teasing the Bucks going out to the AEW tag team title. Oh, we're going to wait till All In. Jesus Christ. You had the Dogs, once again, attacking Copeland and Cage. You got the Bang Bang Gang that are back. All of them, the entire stable back. But no, we're going to get Pac and Claudio, which seemingly they have not done anything right now in the tag team division. Give me a fucking break, man. Jesus Christ. And I'm supposed to be thrilled with Kevin Knight versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World title, man. Give me a fucking break, bro. Jesus Christ. Drink another fucking White Claw, you delusional bastard. I mean, seriously. Yeah, we'll give him an opportunity, whatever. I'm a big fan of Kevin. We're best pals, man. Jesus Christ. Jesus, man. I'm all for pushing talent. Don't get me wrong. And I praise Kevin Knight. And for those people out there, oh, well, you're really hating on Kevin. No, I'm not. I just don't believe that he's worth $50 fucking for a fucking pay-per-view. Especially in the main event. The guy is not ready yet. He is not ready. And this ain't my first rodeo watching professional wrestling, bro. He is not ready right now. And with him taking a loss to Kenny Omega, which is more likely going to happen, because there's no way in hell you're going to have Omega drop the title to Kevin Knight, knowing that we're going right into All In, which is their biggest show of the year, the following month. That'd be the most dumbest decision ever made in professional wrestling. So what does that do for Kevin Knight taking a loss? Well, he lost to the world champion. Well, he had a good match, but he lost. Yeah, so where's this push? Where's this push for Kevin Knight then? Because we've seen the track record when people, oh yeah, I talked to Tony Khan and got an opportunity at the AEW World title. They're back in the ladder again. Brody King's not even a single star anymore. He's back with Brodito. And Brodito is I mean, Christ, bro, Brodito's doing a lot better in that tag team than Brody King is. He's the current Ring of Honor World Champion, and he's going up against Kyle Fletcher for the International title at Redemption. What's Brody King doing? Sitting his ass at home. Come on, man. Come on. Where's Mark Briscoe, bro? You know what I mean? I respect the hell out of the Briscoes, and I respect Mark Briscoe, but what is he doing now? Nothing. Oh, he might be out with injury. Okay. How many times has this guy had opportunity after opportunity and lost? Why? Because they don't see him as a main event caliber star. They don't see him as AEW World Champion worthy enough to hold that title and carry that company. Come on, man. This ain't my first rodeo, bro. It's not. I've been watching wrestling for a very long time. Very long time. And there is stars. Kyle Fletcher is a star. Takeshita is a star. You're pushing Bandito versus Fletcher at Redemption. You're literally throwing shit against the wall and all these ideas hoping shit would stick. And that's what you're going with. Where is the fucking story, bro? Where is the story? And again, I'm going to stress this enough. You just brought back Adam Page on Collision. There was not a single fucking word said at all about Adam Page, whether it was from Shivani, whether it was from Excalibur, whether it was from Don Callis, whether it was from Renee backstage, Tony Khan himself, Kenny Omega, the Bucks. There wasn't a single fucking word mentioned about Adam Hangman Page. Nothing. A guy who was a former AEW World Champion, not a fucking peep. This guy's not even announced for the Redemption pay-per-view. Come on, bro. Like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing here? Nothing. Yeah, Page comes back for Collision. He has, what, a 10-minute segment on Collision, then walks away, and that's it. But not a single fucking mention of Adam Page on Dynamite. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus. And not for nothing, look, I respect the hell. I praise Maya World. And yeah, I'm happy that she was on Dynamite. But she was in a tag team. Not for nothing, with all due respect to Hyan, I'd be pushing Maya World as a singles competitor with the matchup that she just had against Monet. She did an incredible job against Monet. Not for nothing, Maya World should be a single superstar. With all due respect to Hyan. Absolutely. Or if my thing is, let's push both these women, Maya World and Hyan, for an AEW Women's Tag Team Championship opportunity. How about that? Because right now, they don't have nobody to go up against Divine Dominion. Which, by the way, they're a great women's tag team, and they are built like a brick shithouse with Megan Bayne and Lena Cross. Absolutely. Solid tag team. But there's no women tag team roster to actually compete against both these women. Unless you want to, push, Maya World and Hyan as a women's tag team. A suitable number one contender. Tell me what I'm telling lies, bro. Seriously. Oh, yeah, Kevin Knight, you're downplaying that, but he's in the main event, so how can you not make him a big enough star by not putting him in the main event? You can make Kevin Knight a big star with title defenses and storylines. You can do that. You have a storyline with Darby Allin. Kevin Knight does not need to face off against Kenny Omega for the AEW World title, because not for nothing, there should be not a single fucking person on this roster holding two titles at the same goddamn time. A roster that's already bloated as it is, that's probably going to get more additions here in the next couple weeks with the likes of the New Day and the Motor City Machine Guns. And possible other talent that are free agents. Hell, there's rumors that Sami Callihan is working with AEW. He's not signed a contract yet, but he produced some matches. Are we signing Sami Callihan? It'd be a great addition, especially if he wants to wrestle. But again, we're adding more talent to a roster that's already severely bloated as it is. And it's not like they're not pushing Kevin Knight. He's the current TNT champion right now. He's one of the biggest heels in the company after he joined the Don Callis family. But not for nothing, bro, I don't think the guy is ready for a main event caliber spot on a pay-per-view. Just to have him fucking lose to Kenny Omega. And again, you would have to ask yourself the question, okay, well, what happens with Kevin Knight after he takes an L against Omega at Redemption? Are you going to continue to push this guy? Or is he going to go in the back of the line, and now here comes the rest of the, Andrades and Darby Allins, and once again, MJFs. You also have Will Ospreay. You got Jon Moxley, looming in the shadows again. So where does this leave Kevin Knight? Back of the ladder, like I'm saying, because you have all these other contenders that are scratching and clawing, trying to get to Kenny Omega for the AEW World Title. One being Will Ospreay. You got Ospreay. MJF said he's going to be factored into plans at Wembley. You got MJF. I'm sure he wants a rematch with Omega. Hell, why couldn't you book the fucking rematch between MJF and Kenny Omega, for that matter, at Redemption? Honestly, it can be a disqualification. Incorporate MJF in a triple threat match at Wembley. You know what I mean? Jon Moxley comes out, causes some kind of bullshit to happen. Something. There's other angles that you can do for Redemption rather than booking Kevin Knight versus Kenny Omega. I think that's a crock of shit, man. I'm sorry. Him being TNT champion, yeah, it's great. It's great. But there's a storyline within itself between Kevin Knight and Darby Allin. And rather than booking that on a bullshit episode of Dynamite next week, save that match and push that to Redemption, because you know why? That's story. A story that's been stemming since May at Double or Nothing between both Kevin Knight and Darby Allin. You push that storyline, the back and forth banter, the back and forth fighting backstage. You set the matchup, you set the precedent for Redemption, a matchup between Kevin Knight and Darby Allin where Kevin Knight defends the TNT title against Darby Allin at Redemption. Darby gets his redemption finally against Kevin Knight, and then we crown Darby Allin the new TNT champion. The pay-per-view itself is called Redemption. I mean, it fucking writes itself, man. No, you know what? I'm going to have a couple White Claws. I think Kevin Knight in the main event's a good idea against Kenny Omega, man. Jesus Christ, bro. Be a fucking boss, man. Be a boss. Put down the fucking White Claws. Put down the goddamn coffee. And actually come up with a logical fucking idea. Well, MJF promised me a title match. MJF ain't fucking world champion no more, bud. Kenny Omega is. I would have told Kenny Omega, if I was Kenny Omega, I would have told Kevin Knight, yeah, back of the fucking line there, pal. Earn it. Earn it. I've been saying that now for the longest time, from Brody King to Mark Briscoe. Fucking earn it. Well, yeah, he earned it in the cage match. To MJF at that time, who was world champion. MJF is no longer world champion. You got no number one contenders right now. Andrade has been up Kenny Omega's ass for the longest time. Andrade beat the shit out of Kenny Omega. There's a history there. Why can't Andrade duke it out with Kenny Omega? He's been a thorn in Kenny Omega's ass. Why not? What is the fucking holdup? What is the stalling? Well, Andrade's got an AEW National Championship matchup. Yeah, like the AEW National title actually means something in AEW, bro. Give me a fucking break. AEW National title is fucking worthless, man. They're just now starting to do shit with the international title now after so fucking long. Come on, man. I'm supposed to believe that the national title is worth a fuck in AEW? Come on. Come on. No. Absolutely not. They don't know what the hell they're doing with that fucking championship. They got too many goddamn titles. Why? Because the roster's so fucking bloated. Come on, man. Jesus Christ almighty, man. Jeez. You're booking this matchup between Kevin Knight and Kenny Omega purely and solely for the AEW Sickos. Because they're the only fucking people that want to see this match. Which, if that's the case, bro, y'all need to get y'all's fucking head checked. I'm sorry. This match is not main event caliber worthy for $50 fucking for a pay-per-view. You've lost your fucking mind. You lost your mind. You want to put Kevin Knight on the fucking redemption card, then you have him defend that TNT title against Darby Allin. Hell, he could be in the co-main event, bro. He's in the co-main event of a pay-per-view. Main event, though? For $50 fucking for a Kevin Knight match? Nah. Nah, you can miss me with that shit, bro. I'm sorry. Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. Nah. Absolutely. And honestly, for what it's worth, I hope MJF does come out and cost Kevin Knight this match. And somehow MJF is incorporated in a triple threat matchup at Wembley between Omega, Ospreay, and MJF in the main event of All In. Especially when it's already been announced through different media outlets that MJF is going to play a significant role at All In. I hope they make it a triple threat match for Wembley at this point. And MJF comes out, costs Kevin Knight the world title matchup, or costs a disqualification for Kenny Omega. Some bullshit. And we incorporate Max or MJF into the world title picture at All In. Why the fuck not? Come on, bro. No one gives a shit about Kevin Knight versus Kenny Omega. Nobody cares, man. And honestly, when this matchup was announced, bro, I'm sitting there literally watching this shit. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. This is the reason why this show is in the shit that it's in. Honestly. And I don't understand what's going on with MJF, bro. Seriously. This guy was keeping the fucking lights on. And for all those people out there, oh man, you're kissing MJF's ass. No. The show is better when MJF is world champion. Hands down. That has been the MO of AEW for the past 3 fucking years. It's a better show when MJF is world champion. There's better storyline, there's better on, microphones, there's better segments. It's just a better show. I'm sorry. It's just, yeah. I don't know, folks. But what I told you guys a long time ago, what you get here is real. I'm not sugarcoating shit. I'm not, it's a great idea. No, it's not a great fucking idea. It's not. It's not. There does not need to be, those Jet 2 belts, bro. No one gives a fuck about that shit, bro. I'm sorry. And not for nothing, this roster is so fucking bloated. There does not need to be a single individual on this roster walking around with 2 titles at the same fucking time. Now, that's where you give an up-and-coming star an opportunity to become world champion and make them into a star. For example, what you did with Kevin Knight with the TNT title. I think Kevin Knight's a great wrestler. I think he's really good in the ring. But do I think he's $50 worth main event caliber talent for a pay-per-view? Absolutely fucking not. And again, I will stress this to you guys enough. How are you going to build a star with Kevin Knight, with him facing off against the world champion, and then take an L? And then where does that leave Kevin Knight then after that? When you have Jon Moxley, Will Ospreay, MJF, Andrade pretty much glamoring for a world title opportunity. This is going to push Kevin Knight in the back of the fucking line. So where does this really make Kevin Knight into this huge, big superstar? Oh, I had a match against Kenny Omega, but I fucking lost. Yep, back of the line, pal. See you next year. Come on, man. Look what it did for Briscoe. Look what it did to Brody King. Honestly. I mean, I've said it multiple times already. You look at the situation with Brodito, who's benefiting more? You had to say Bandito. He's the current Ring of Honor World Champion, and he's facing Kyle Fletcher for the International title at Redemption. Answer me this question. What the hell is Brody King doing at Redemption? Not a fucking thing. Sitting on his ass at home. Where's Mark Briscoe? Is he injured? What's going on? How many times have he had opportunities against MJF? Came up short. Tell me when I'm telling lies, bro. What is it doing for these talents to go up against the world champion and lose? Oh, we get a rematch. What, take another fucking L? Come on, man. Just because you were in the main event at some Dynamite or some pay-per-view and then get pushed back in the line again? Come on, man. You're not even establishing new stars at this point. Well, Kevin Knight's a new star. Kevin Knight's not a new star. He's TNT champion. He's been around for a little bit. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. This is a bad decision. This is something where AEW backed themselves into a fucking corner. What's Page doing? Page is back. What's Page doing? Just because he says he's not going to go after the AEW World Championship doesn't mean he can't have a match at Redemption. Y'all made no comments about Page whatsoever on his return back to AEW on Collision. There wasn't a single thing talked about as far as Page is concerned on Dynamite. Not a fucking word. Nothing. Not from Omega, not from the Bucks, not from Renee, not from Tony Schiavone, not from Excalibur, not a fucking peep. Come on, man. And this guy's a former AEW World Champion. Multi-time AEW World Champion. Nothing. You could hear a pin drop as far as hearing anything about Adam Page on Dynamite. Not a fucking thing. Come on, man. Jesus Christ. Swerve Strickland. What's Swerve doing for Redemption? Nothing. This Redemption pay-per-view looks as worse, or if not worse, than what we got for AEW's Forbidden Door. Come on, man. Nobody gives a shit about Kevin Knight versus Kenny Omega. No one gives a fuck about Copeland and Cage defending the titles against Pac and Claudio. What the fuck has Pac and Claudio done as a tag team as of late? Nothing. But you're booking him in a tag team title matchup against Copeland and Cage. Give me the storyline is the Death Riders. Do you have to defend the tag team titles against these fucking guys? No. Shit, Pac wasn't even fucking out there for the beatdown as far as I'm concerned on Dynamite. Just Claudio. And then the dogs. There was no Pac. Pac was sitting back in catering or at home. Yeah, we're going to book Pac in a title matchup. Pac wasn't even fucking out there. But they're beefing with the Death Riders. Jesus Christ, man. What story? Yeah, that's story, all right. Yeah. Yeah, that's story. Meanwhile, the Bucks are keeping their eye on the tag team championships for quite some time now. We're gonna save that until we get to All In. We're gonna do a TLC match at All In, man. Holy shit! Let me take a wild guess, bro. What are you gonna book? What? The Bucks, New Day, and Copeland and Cage in a triple threat TLC matchup at All In. Jesus! Come on, man. I don't know, folks. I think for me, it's getting to a point where it's a broken record, man. It really is. I'm trying to find things to enjoy about this show. Nothing makes fucking sense. And not for nothing, with all due respect, Kevin Knight is not main event caliber worthy for a pay-per-view where you're charging people $50 fucking for. I'm sorry. He's not. And then when he loses, which most likely he will, how is it still building up Kevin Knight? Because I feel like once he loses, he's going into the back of the line. I would rather see Darby Allin versus Kevin Knight at Redemption than Kevin Knight versus Kenny Omega. You can run a rematch back with MJF versus Omega at Redemption. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's other different angles that you can do for Kenny Omega at Redemption than Kevin Knight. But that's what you chose, and that's what you wanted to go with. Why? Because Tony Khan thought this was a good idea to book this match. And you're only booking this matchup for those quote-unquote AEW sickos because you think it's a good idea. Jesus Christ, man. Drank another fucking White Claw, bro. Holy shit, man. Jesus. I can't tell you how bad this damn company needs a running team. They need a running team like people need goddamn oxygen. Seriously. If this is Tony Khan writing this shit, holy fucking Christ. Jesus, bro. Hire a writer. Hell, you know what? Hire Road Dogg at this goddamn point. Can't get no worse than that. Jesus Christ. You got Billy Gunn over there and Maple Leaf Pro producing matches. Bring in Road Dogg. Have him be a writer or produce match. Something, bro. Get out of the fucking way of the writing room. Tony Khan should not be writing jack shit for AEW, man. Just be a boss, bro, and be the owner of AEW. Stay out of the fucking writing room. Hire decent writers, get off your lazy ass, and do something, man. Stop trying to be buddy-buddy with this talent, because that shit right there has already got you in trouble. You being chummy-chummy with this talent has already bitten you in the ass. Look at the CM Punk situation. You wanted to be chummy-chummy, and it bit you in the ass. To a point where you are quote-unquote scared for your life from CM Punk, man. Jesus Christ. And not for nothing, Punk was your ace in the hole, bro. And because you wanted to be chummy, it bit you in the ass. It made you look like a chump, and it bit you in the ass. Good. And where's CM Punk now? Ah, that's right. He's in WWE. And he's also currently the WWE champion. Right. That didn't affect Tony Khan at all. Bullshit, bro. Bullshit. CM Punk was Tony Khan's ace in the hole. 100%. To take over WWE. And what happened? It bit you in the ass. Why? Because you wanted to share White Claws and be chummy with this goddamn guy. And it bit you in the ass. Jack Perry got suspended. The whole thing goes on and on and on and on. And then you wanted to be petty and then broadcast live what happened backstage. This is what CM Punk did. Like an episode of CNN. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Give me a fucking break, bro. God, we got to justify this of what CM Punk did backstage. I was, scared for my life. Yeah, how many White Claws were you in at that point, bro? Honestly. Dude's fucking delusional, man. You got to stop being chummy with these people. Be a boss. I'm not saying be a prick, but be a boss. Stay out of the fucking writing room. Be a boss. You want to be the owner of AEW? Then be the owner. Stay the fuck out of the writing room. Hire some writers. Something. Hire some good producers. Sami Callihan's in the backstage area. He's supposedly producing matches for AEW. Have him write too as well. Write some matches. Hire a writing team. Stop trying to be chummy with this talent, bro. I'm not saying be an asshole, but damn. Stop sharing White Claws in the back and shit. Be a boss. No, the guy's fucking delusional. He's a fanboy. Be a boss, man. Seriously. I don't know what happened with this fucking company as far as writing solid stories that people were actually happy to see. I mean, look at Chris Jericho, bro. He's going through a midlife crisis once again at the age that he is and bringing back the Painmaker from New Japan. Why? Because currently the Jericho character that's back now is people are losing faith in. So Jericho's like, hey, you know what? I want to bring back a little nostalgia. I want to bring back the Painmaker from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Why? It's because the original Chris Jericho shit's not panning out? It's not working? Your whole storyline with Jericho is going up against bald people? You had a storyline with Ricochet, and now you moved on to another bald guy with Tommaso Ciampa. Who's next? Big Show? He's bald. He's back. He's ready to compete. Jesus Christ. I mean, come on, bro. God damn. We're gonna have Jericho. We're gonna have Jericho go up against this guy. You know why? Because he's bald. That's the story right there. What's next? Jericho versus fucking Mr. Clean? Dr. Evil? I mean, seriously, what the fuck? I mean, come on, folks. Mr. Burns from The Simpsons? Oh, yeah, he's bald. Jesus Christ, man. Write some fucking story. Not just, oh, yeah, you bald? Yeah, we're going to give you Jericho. Jericho's got this whole thing about, wanting to wrestle bald guys. He bald? Yeah, first match, Jericho. No doubt about it. Easiest writing ever. Done deal. Like, where's the fucking effort at? What, Briscoe's going to come back and shave his head bald, and Briscoe's going to get a matchup against Jericho because he's got nothing else to do? You know what, Mark? Shave your head bald, man. Shave it bald. Come back to AEW. We'll put you in a high-profile matchup against Jericho. He's a Hall of Famer. He's got this whole, he wants to wrestle bald guys. Shave your head bald, man. He'll grow back. But at least for a couple months you'll be bald. We'll have you a matchup against, Chris Jericho. Shave your head. Jesus Christ. I mean, come on, folks. I mean, it's... And, I mean, people, they're going to laugh about that, but it's the fucking truth. Ricochet, bald. Ciampa, bald. Who's next? Big Show's bald. He's back. He just came back. We're going to book Jericho versus the Big Show. Have a big match between Jericho and Big Show. Why? Because Big Show's bald. Jesus. Big Show can barely walk without his damn knees clicking. I mean, come on, man. It's like, Jesus Christ, bro. Jeez. Jesus. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know the direction of where we're going here. I think Redemption's fucking done. I think Redemption is probably going to be one of the worst pay-per-views in AEW history. They better hope for a return or a debut or a surprise or some shit. Something. Because holy shit, man. Honestly. Well, yeah, Kevin Knight versus Kenny Omega. I'm going to charge people $50 for that match. Shit. Count me out, bro. There might not be a review for Redemption for me, folks. I can tell you guys that right now. Not with that garbage. No. Absolutely not. I mean, at the end of the day, bro, like, what the fuck are we doing here? I know I say that all the time, but, like, legitimately, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Well, I was promised a match from MJF after we won the cage match for a title, so I'm hoping back for that opportunity, even though now that you're world champion. Jesus Christ, man. I talked to Tony Khan backstage, just like everybody else has. Oh, man. I don't know, bro. I do not know. I just want compelling storylines, bro. I want shit to make sense. Kevin Knight versus Kenny Omega, to me, makes no fucking sense. You're TNT champion? Great. Oh, man, there's no storyline for Kevin Knight right now, so why not give him Kenny Omega? That's bullshit, because you got storyline right now between Kevin Knight and Darby Allin. Book that fucking match for Redemption and have Darby go over and beat Kevin Knight and have Darby become TNT champion. The pay-per-view is called Redemption. After all the shit that Kevin Knight's pulled as of late to Darby Allin, come on, man. It writes its fucking self. Seriously, you can't get any more simpler than that. I mean, literally, it writes itself. Well, you know what? We're just going to take that match and book it on next week's Dynamite because we don't really have a lot of shit going on. You got a former world champion returning to AEW. You didn't say a fucking word about Adam Page. Nothing. It's not even booked for the pay-per-view. Right now on paper, there's no Page, there's no Moxley, there's no Ospreay, there's no... I mean, come on, bro. What the fuck? What are we doing? No Bucks? Nothing. Nothing. Yeah, Andrade's booked against Mark Davis for the AEW National Championship at Redemption, a title that means jack shit. Come on, man. Come on. No Swerve? I mean... But Redemption's supposed to be a great pay-per-view. $50 worthy. Come on, man. No, the fuck it's not. Jeez. Oh, my God. Oh, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I can tell you guys right now, there might not be a Redemption review from me. I do not think Kevin Knight versus Kenny Omega screams spending $50. I don't think it's worth $50, in my honest opinion. I don't. I'm sorry. And yeah, I want Kevin Knight to prosper, and I think he has a very high ceiling, bro, but he is not ready to be in a main event pay-per-view spot against Kenny Omega. He's not. I'm sorry. And that does not scream for me to spend $50 for that matchup. Nah. And that's the main event, and you're going to have people up until what? Midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning for that fucking main event? Nah. Hell to the no. Absolutely not. So, I don't know, man. Things need to change. I mean, the only logical thing I can think of the reason why they booked this Kevin Knight versus Kenny Omega match is because Tony Khan is booking this match for the AEW Sickos. We're going to give one to the Sickos, pal. That's why you're booking this garbage. No one gives a shit about this fucking matchup, man. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, man. And it's a shame because you're charging people $50 for this fucking garbage. It's hot garbage, man. I probably will not watch this shit. To be honest with you, man. At all. And they're lacking a lot of names to be a part of this pay-per-view. A lot. Hopefully it could change. I know there might be some more matches added, but Jesus Christ, man. So far on paper, it is not looking good for AEW's Redemption. But with that being said, though, this is my review of AEW's Dynamite. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful, and remember, Stay classic. Peace.